Hi, this is RN Bhaskar from Bhaskar Ki Business Batein. My podcasts are on stories, on conversations, and on policy. Donald Trump wants to make America great again. The idea is great. It appeals to the electorate. Congressmen have been wowed. He's won votes. He's got the powers. But there are some very, very dangerous signs here and there. First, remember, America's debt is the world's largest debt. It has crossed $36 trillion and is likely to cross even further. It's something you cannot gloss over, because the more you borrow, the more you stoke inflation, the more it weakens your underbelly of the economy. And America is weak on this score. There's a second problem. Even if you have a debt, if you're actually making money on year-to-year basis on transactions, that would be fine. But America's fiscal deficits are growing, especially the last few years. They've grown enormously. So when you have a large debt and you've got a fiscal deficit, it means that your debt will keep on rising. And then there's a third problem. And the third problem is basically this, that during the past 3 years, look at the fiscal deficit chart again. You'll find the last few years it has gone up. And one of the reasons why it's gone up is because in the last 3 years, America has been engaged in financing two very, very expensive wars. One for Ukraine and another for Israel. The Ukraine war is expensive in two ways. Firstly, the Ukraine war costs money. How much money? Just look at this chart. It'll tell you how much money. The second problem with Ukraine is that almost every weapon that America provided has been destroyed, demolished, or rendered useless by the Russian weaponry. So earlier America could say, our weapons are the best. The Ukraine war proved that American weapons are not the best. So in terms of reputation, America's lost because its weaponry does not work. There's a third kind of a loss. Ever since the war began, Ukraine has been steadily losing. Today, while there are counterclaims on both sides where more people have died, the best proof is the number of people whose bodies, dead bodies, are exchanged by each country periodically. Now, this exchange of dead bodies is documented. And because they're documented, we know that the number of dead bodies which Russia returns to Ukraine of soldiers of Ukraine that have died in the war are 8 times larger than the number of Russian deaths that are returned to Russia. Ukraine is estimated to have lost almost about a million people. For a country which is not very, very populous, that death is going to hurt it. So Ukraine has lost people. Ukraine has lost territory. It has lost almost 4 oblasts and is likely to lose more. But America does not want to give up Ukraine, although Trump said he would settle the war within 1 week. Trump can't settle it. All he needs to do is make a phone call saying that we are not supplying you any more money or any more weaponry, and Ukraine will be finished. But there are 2 problems that Trump faces. One of his largest contributors to his political campaigns has been the military industry complex. The Raytheons. And the likes of Raytheon, every weapons manufacturer wants the war to continue so that weapons can be sold. So that is a strong lobby that is trying to tell Trump not to end the war. There's a second problem. Many people in Europe want the war to continue Because America's told them the story, I think falsely, that if Russia conquers Ukraine, they will be the next in line and Russia will attack them. There is no proof to show that Russia has any intentions or even capability of attacking them. But there's a third reason also. And this, while undocumented, is available in the investment charts of BlackRock. BlackRock is the world's largest investor, with almost $7.3 trillion of investments. And a large chunk of its investments are in Ukraine. Many important Americans had purchased land assets in Ukraine before the war began. When the war began and it started going badly for Ukraine, many of these landholders sold their assets to BlackRock in exchange for money. In other words, they mortgaged the assets to BlackRock. BlackRock now wants to make sure that its assets are safe. So it wants the war to continue so it does not have to write off its assets in Ukraine. So America continues funding a war which is expensive for Ukrainians, which is expensive for Russia, for US reputation, and is expensive even in cash terms, which increases America's deficit financing. On the other side, you have one more war, Israel. America has been financing the Israeli military machinery. Today, the largest amount of contribution that America makes for weaponry is to Israel. See this chart. How much money? Over the years? Look at the second chart, which tells you how much money America has been giving to Israel. The trouble is that the Israeli lobby in America, the AIPAC, AIPAC, is a very powerful lobbyist. And it finances almost all the senators in the US. It does not want the US to stop funding Israel to fight the war in Gaza. Even though Israel is guilty of committing genocide, even though Israel is guilty of ethnic cleansing, America would like to stop the war, but the lobbies will not let it. So willy-nilly, America is also going to get branded as being guilty of genocide, as being guilty of ethnic cleansing, and that is not good for America. So America has debt, America has deficit financing, and America has a loss of reputation, and the collateral damage is proving to be too much for America. Finally, we have one more problem. The recent statement by Donald Trump that he will take over Gaza, he will resettle Palestinians, is also a dangerous statement because it means that he will do the ethnic cleansing in Gaza. Trump's statement has been criticized by the Secretary General of the United Nations, by all the Arab countries together in one voice, and interestingly, by much of the world. It is unlikely that Trump will be able to control Gaza, let alone take over Gaza. Do remember that even after 2 years, 15 months of war, Israel has not been able to demolish Hamas. Hamas is formidable. Israel knows how to fight on the land, but it doesn't know how to fight underground. Hamas is underground. And there's a second thing. Hamas is battle-hardened, much more battle-hardened than Israel is. Israel is great for short wars. It is not great for long wars. And lastly, the world has shown that you may have all the arms in the world. You may have military power. You may destroy buildings. You may destroy roads. You may destroy hospitals. You may kill people. But it is not easy to destroy the will of people, especially people who think that land is theirs. America tried that in Vietnam. And despite all the bombardment, despite the use of napalm bombs, America had to finally say enough is enough and accept defeat and get back. It tried that in Afghanistan. It had to go back. It's trying that in Iraq, and the cost is bloody. In Iraq, almost 650,000 people died. The deaths in Ukraine and Israel will definitely exceed that. America has blood on its hands. It is a war it cannot win. If it tries to control Gaza, it will lose even more. America may not be great again. Thanks for watching this video. And yes, do click the like button and subscribe. We want your subscribers so that you are informed. Thanks for watching. See you next week.